Hello to all you guys, all my YouTube family out there. My name is Elijah Rubin. Thank you for coming to my YouTube channel, Phoenix Fire Damage Properties AZ. I appreciate you taking this time coming, looking at my video. You're taking your time with me. I'm gonna make sure I take my time with you and give you all the tips and techniques you need. On this episode, we're gonna be discussing how to get the most insurance money proceeds out of your insurance claim if you're dealing with fire damage property, vandalism, water damage, or even hail damage. Now, dealing with the insurance company. This is extremely frustrating. They know this. They know you're in a tough position right now. Fire just happened. You're dealing with the insurance company while you're in your shoes or in your sandals or in your robe. You think about, do I have to take my kids to school tomorrow? I have to deal with my wife. We just lost our bird. There's a lot that's going on in your world if you're going through the situation and spending hours after hours dealing with insurance companies, sending emails, sending faxes, waiting on hold. Then you have to go through your contents. Is that what it's worth? Where are you going to stay? There's hours and hours of head banging. Think of you going to DMV and having to deal with the DMV for months. All right, that's what you're basically dealing with. You don't want to have to deal with that if you don't have to. And I want to make sure I take the time out to explain to you there's a better way. Absolutely. And that's why I really want to make sure you kind of see that there's different techniques and options out there that most people aren't aware of. Because we have to remember, when you're dealing with an insurance company, it's a business. Their job is not only that they want to be helpful. I don't want to say all insurance companies are bad, but as a rule of thumb, their job is to help minimize their costs on every insurance claim payout, be vandalism, be water damage, or fire damage in your potential situation. You need to know the facts. You need to know what's in it for them, what's in it for you, what is their main indicating factors of giving you the most that you possibly can for your insurance claim. Having the facts to know what's next and how to minimize your frustration and maximize your return and during this horrible situation is key portions here to really kind of focus on. Let me walk you through the average fire damage insurance claim process, okay? Boom, fire happens. You get home, you see the fire, everything. You got the police department, the fire department out there. You have people fencing up your property. You have people boarding up your property. You have restoration people coming to you. You have temporary housing people coming to you. You have all these people coming to you. You're trying to figure out what's next. What's going to happen at that point? You are either going to contact your insurance company or a family member may already contacted them. They're going to have a conversation with you at some point within the first 24 hours usually, okay? Once you have that conversation with them, then you're going to assign you a claim adjuster. This claim adjuster will probably be very nice to you. Remember, it is a business. They are looking out for the bottom line, and you need to make sure you are kind of being aware of what's your bottom line, what do you want to see as your end outcome out of this whole ordeal. So what they're going to do, they're going to give you some documents to kind of go over your contents, what was burned, what was damaged, what was replaced, what needs to be cleaned. They're going to kind of discuss where you want to go for temporary housing, temporary transportation. And so now you're on the clock. Your money is actively being spent. So you want to really kind of keep an eye on what's being spent so you're not putting yourself in a position where your money spent on frivolous things that you and your family may need down the road. Then what happens after that, you're going to review all the damage. You're going to see all your contents. You're going to look at the repairs of everything. Then they're going to work out a settlement. Then that settlement is going to be roughly about 80 to 85% on average, sometimes more, sometimes less, but 80 to 85% of what your insurance policy limit's going to be. That's what you're probably going to receive most likely. So if your house is worth $100,000, they're going to give you $80,000. And hopefully they're hoping that you're not going to dispute that or have any issues. That's a typical process you should expect to go through, okay? Some might be a little easier, but most likely it's gonna be a lot more painstaking, head banging than what I just laid out for you, okay? Now, there is a different and better way of doing this. By bringing a private claim adjuster to the table, it could put you in a way better position where you have an advocate who's out there looking, negotiating, arguing, and defending your best interest for you and your family. Let me give you an example. I had a client recently in Arizona a couple months ago. She's 25 years old. She just had her newborn. She has a kid. Husband, basically they caught on fire while they're on vacation. Came back, fire damage. She's living at home with her mother-in-law. So believe me, urgency to leave is great. So she just was pulling her hair out, stressed out about all the items they need to provide. She lost some of the items. Some of the items got burnt. Some of the documents on the insurance paperwork got burnt. She wasn't able to go there because she was working. The hours of calls were getting in trouble with her job. She's frustrated. She didn't know where to turn to. Luckily, she reached out to me. I was able to not only set her up with our private claim adjuster, who is going to be able to handle the 1,000 hours of phone calls, who's going to do the negotiating, who's going to overlook the numbers, who's going to go back and make sure you have the best housing situation, got them in a better housing situation, got them a better temporary transportation situation. These are the things you want somebody out there advocating for you and your family during this time of need. I want to make sure I'm really laying out the fact that not only can you get 100, 150% more than was initially offered to you, but more important, you have somebody who's handling all those hours of communication. These are your life hours. You have to run your life. You have baseball practice. You have cookies to make with the daughter. You do not have time to negotiate and go back and forth on money that's already owed to you to make them pay out what's totally entitled to you and your family. That's why it's so important to bring in a private claim adjuster to look at what's best for you, what's owed to you, and make sure code upgrades aren't being left off. Permit reimbursements aren't being left off. These are some of the little tips and techniques that you, just being a homeowner, trusting your insurance company to do what's best for you, aren't really seeing. They're gonna identify, make sure every I's dotted, every T's crossed. It's kind of like having a bookkeeper overlook your bookkeeper's books to make sure they're not keeping anything off the books from you, if you will. That's what you have the value for. That's what you want to make sure you do not leave money on the table that's entitled to you. That's what she was able to do. She brought me into the table. Not only did we look at everything for her whole big picture, we discussed what's the end goal she wanted to happen. Now she's able to say she has another house that her and her kids are able to live in with her husband. She was able not only to survive the house damage, but she's thriving both financially and emotionally, as I know you will too. If you just trust in the process, believe that there's a better and more efficient, productive way to maximize your possible payout and minimize all the stress and headaches you're going to deal with. I challenge you to go to my website, Fire Damage Properties AZ, get my ebook. I highlight a specific section of telling you how to maximize your insurance policy returns in my ebook, Your Guide for Surviving a Fire Damaged Property. I thank you guys for looking at my YouTube channel. Make sure you come back each and every single month, as I'm going to be putting out more content to make sure you guys survive and thrive of any type of fire damage situation you may go through. Each one teach one. I love being able to share with you guys. YouTube family, I'll see you next time.